Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stash-down Diaries. My name is Jen and I am a knitter, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk all about my knitting projects and my knitting plans with a focus on knitting from my stash, although I do occasionally purchase new yarn because, sometimes you kind of can't get away from it. And also it's nice to treat yourself. But basically my rule is more out than in. So yeah, today's February 5th. I'm coming to you from beautiful Cape Breton Island, which is part of the province of Nova Scotia in Atlantic Canada. I have just been sitting here for a minute after I hit record, waiting for a couple of my pets to settle. Piper, my dog, is settled on the futon now, and Miss Maisie, who I thought was going to create a ruckus, is now nestled in her kitty condo. So it's just probably a matter of time before Ginny shows up. But anyway, so it's been like 3 weeks, and I will tell you what happened. So the first Wednesday, I didn't have enough to talk about, so I didn't want to bother recording anything because I want my videos to be worthwhile. So it would have been just like, look at the 2 inches I knitted on my sweater, and look at the 2 inches of both stockinette that I knitted on my poncho. I did have a finished pair of socks, which we'll talk about later, but that was it. And then last Wednesday, I came home from work at lunchtime. I had everything brought up to the yarn room so that it would be here when I got home from work, ready to record. And when I went back to work, I started getting the chills. And so, yeah, when I got home, I went to bed. And I didn't leave my house after that until like today. Well, I had to go Saturday to get stuff for soup, but yeah. So I've been under the weather. I'm doing a lot better, but you may notice that I'm not enunciating properly because there's still stuff going on in here. But I have my water. I have my peppermint tea. And I will just edit out things if I make any weird noises. So, let us begin. I will talk about what I'm wearing. This, because there was a situation with this. I mentioned on a previous episode, but I don't know if I mentioned it like ever since then. Piper, my dog, likes to chew antler. And so I have these great antlers that I got through my work. But anyway, I had this cardigan, had antler buttons on it. And yeah, she chewed the top one off and she started to chew the second one. So I had to order new buttons. And anyway, yeah, here's their little mooses. But those, I have to try to find another use for what's left of the antler buttons. My brother got them for me in the Yukon. So yeah, I can't believe I didn't make the connection of like, she likes to chew antler, so I shouldn't leave my sweater with antler buttons sitting around where she could get it. She actually also likes to chew plastic buttons because she chewed them off my Stanfield's, one of my Stanfield's wool Henleys. Don't worry, she doesn't swallow anything. Like, I do keep things away from her. I Piper-proof areas where she's going to be unsupervised. She gets blocked off into a certain section of like basically the main floor of the house when I go to work, and it's all cleared of stuff. But occasionally something slips past, and but yeah, no, she's never swallowed anything, thank God. Well, other than rodents, she does swallow those. Sorry if you're squeamish. But anyway, so let's talk the important part of this one. If you haven't seen it, this is my Oban cardigan by Thea Coleman, who is one of my favorite designers. I love all the cable-y things she does. And I knitted this out of McCausland's Woolen Mills because I wanted a big, like, rustic cabled cardigan. And this one definitely fit the bill. Yeah, so it's all cabled down here and stuff. And, oh, one of my buttons popped open. We can't have that. We can't have that. There. So, yeah. There's more of her patterns that I want to knit. I love her hats. You would have seen them in my hat episode. My blanket shifted down. Yeah, so Oban Cardigan, Thea Coleman. This has just been like the nicest, like it's almost a coat basically. So I was wearing it, well, under my jacket, but with my coat open, shoveling snow earlier today. And it was wonderful. I love the big rustic wool, but I do want to knit one out of like a nicer, softer wool eventually. So yeah, anyway, so I usually start by talking about acquisitions because I usually have none, and that is no different this month. 0 acquisitions. So let's talk about finished objects. I'm just going to take a little beverage break. All right, so you remember my tale of woe from earlier in January involving these scrappy house socks. Well, they were like round, I don't know what round this was. It was 2 or 3. They were a success. I can't talk today. They were a success. It came really close to, well, I was basically playing yarn chicken with this color here. But I did make the decision that if I ran out of this color early on the second sock, then I would just start this color earlier. And you can see, like, I started it before the toe anyway on both socks, like I did it on the first one. I'm so glad I did that because I would have run out and they would have been asymmetrical. I had about like this much yarn left when I finished the leg or the foot down here. So yeah, this is opal yarn. They were scraps that I had in my stash. This one I had knit socks for my mom just like towards the end of 2024. And this one here had been in my stash for a while. I had knit myself socks from that one years ago. I still have those and wear those. But yeah, I'm happy now with how these turned out. I managed to use up the remainder of this skeiny yarn and it's out of my stash. Like on my Ravelry page, it's marked as all used up. And this one will be used up in my Scraw bucket bag, so I will mark that one off as well. I did 3x1 rib, which is my go-to for knitting socks for people whose feet I don't necessarily know. Like, I'm always nervous knitting socks for some of my family members because things kind of change. Like with the yarn, like something could be a worsted, but then it could be a light worsted, and these are supposed to be a worsted, or are they a DK? And because it's the opal 6 ply, no, 8 ply, it's the opal 8 ply, and but it's listed as a DK, but it's kind of a word, like, so anyway, when there's that much question, I like to do the rib socks so that there's a bit of give and a little, you know. So anyway, 2x2 rib on the cuff. I cast on 48 stitches. I did a US 2.5 for these ones to make them a little bit more snug because the person that they are going to has small feet. And yeah, so that is my first finished object of this week. Now, this one, yeah, I will do, here it is. Next, I have one of my 12 days of cast-ons finished, and it is one of the bigger ones. And when I said that I had a lot of time to knit, well, I was off. Did I say that? I don't know. I was like recording and animals were afoot, and I don't remember, and I stopped recording and restarted, and I don't remember if I said yeah, this time that I was knitting a lot while I was unwell. So here is the Corian poncho. I am going to do a little footage of me wearing it, and you will be able to see it. But this is where I was the last time I recorded, and over those last few weeks, I knitted from here to here and finished it off. The yarn is a discontinued yarn, unfortunately. It is Sugar Bush Rapture. It is 50% llama and 50% merino, so if you were looking for something similar to this, I do enjoy the drape. Then you'd be able to, you know, plug in, I think you can plug in llama and merino in the Ravelry search for yarns and be able to find something similar that way. Or probably Google, like yarn 50% llama, 50% merino, but I haven't tried that, so I don't know. Yeah, so this pattern is by Amy Palco, who has the Meaningful Stitch YouTube channel here on YouTube. And yeah, I am looking forward to having this as like an over-warmy thing for in the house, because I do keep my house a little bit cold, and for shoulder seasons to wear if I want to walk down to the library in the spring or in the fall. And this will be just a nice thing to throw over myself. But yeah, so I'm not going to give away too much of the secret sauce, but there is like some short row shaping, and yeah, just like a comfort knit. I knitted it while watching mostly Traders. I love Traders. And some other stuff, but lots of YouTube. It's not something that you have to pay too much attention to. But anyway, yeah, really enjoyed that. So that is another one of my 12 days of cast-ons. That is done. So some other things have to get rotated in. Oh, and I will show you one of those things did get rotated in, so I will show you that in a little bit. But first, actually, let's talk about scrap knitting. I was like trying to wait for Piper to stop licking her paws so that you wouldn't hear it in the background, but you know, she won't, so so that is the sound you hear in the background. Okay, so I was working on my northeasterly, and I knitted up this bit of Knit Picks Felici right here. And I decided that once I finished this column, that I would knit something else with the Felici, because it was a lot. There was still quite a bit left instead of starting the next row with it, which I normally do, but it just seemed like a lot, you know? So I was trying to think of what I needed to knit out of scraps, and I knew there was something. I had to like ponder for a bit, but then I remembered I needed more yarn cozies. So here it is. This is another finished object, but also in my scrappy knitting. These yarn cozies are from a pattern by Natalie, or Nitty Natty here on YouTube. And you can get the patterns for different sizes. This is for a 100-gram ball of yarn or cake of yarn. I like these because I can pull the yarn from the center of the ball. Like I can put it in a bag. I really like it for taking it places, because I can put the cake in there and put it in a bag and pull it from the center, and it stays together. So I don't have to like, if I'm pulling it from the outside of the cake, you know how it gets, you're like unwinding it sometimes. You have to pull out a whole bunch of it at once, and yeah. So anyway, I enjoy this more. So I knitted one of these. I don't think I mentioned who this blanket is by. It's the Northeasterly by Skein-Anigans. And I have been working on this for a bit. Now, I was cleaning up my yarn room yesterday and trying to go through all my scrap yarns and assign the scrap yarns to different blankets that I have on the go, because I have 1, 2, 3, I think I have like 5 blankets on the go, plus the Scraw bucket, and it's a little overwhelming. So I think what I'm going to do, and yeah, I'm pretty much decided on it, is that I am going to focus on one blanket, and that is going to be the jelly roll. So after this is going to go in hibernation for a little bit. And the reason I'm picking the jelly roll, because there's not as many available scrap balls for that one. That one is the self-patterning yarn blanket. This is the self-striping yarn blanket. There's a ton that I would have to get through before getting to the next blanket. So when I run out of self-patterning yarns to knit the jelly roll, I will switch to a different one. And because I knit what I feel like whenever I feel like it, I'm not holding myself entirely to that. If I really get a hankering to knit on my northeasterly, then I am taking out my northeasterly and working on it. But I will, I think I'll really enjoy seeing a lot of progress on one blanket. So that is the plan. And plus I'm going to have more things like this on the go. I need more cozies. I don't think I finished talking about these. She has them in different sizes. So you buy the pattern for this size, and then there's another pattern for 20 and 50 gram balls, but I think you can bundle them. I'm pretty sure I bundled them when I purchased them. And you get them at a little bit of a discount. So that is those for my scrappy knitting that I did the last bit. And my other scrappy knitting, which is a new 12 Days of Cast-Ons project that has come into the rotation, is the Scraw bucket. And now, like, this is the bag of scraps that might be going into the Scraw bucket. This pattern, this is by Teresia Liu, and I think that's how you pronounce it. I saw this for the first time on Robin's, an episode of Grumpy Sheep, Happy Llama that Robin was knitting. And I thought, what a awesome way to use up scraps, because then I can use the bag for more of my knits, some of the bigger ones, because I need another bigger project bag, but I don't want to buy one. I just don't. I'm overwhelmed with commercialism. Anyway, I usually am like that right after Christmas. So normally this pattern is knit holding 2 fingering weight yarns together, but I already have so many fingering weight scrap projects. I wanted to hit my worsted weight. So this is going to be a bigger bag than what it is normally if you go by the pattern. I went up a needle size. I think I'm up 4.5s. Yeah, 4.5 millimeter. And yeah, I put a bunch of worsted and DK weight scraps in the bag. And right now, so the bag is reversible. So this is going to be the inside. I know it's like some of it is a bit attractive. It was like attractive up until like, see here, and then now it's like a little ugly. But I'm almost to the top of the bag. And that is why I'm knitting with this pretty blue. And then I have, next is this purple right here. I'm thinking I'm going to hit the top of the bag with these two. And then after that, I'm going to be holding DK double. So the outside of the bag will be a bit more attractive, and it'll be marled. So most of it'll be marled. There might be some, I still have to knit that opal that I showed you before, and I want to put that on the outside of the bag. Maybe I'll do it towards the bottom, although I want to use it all the way up. So yeah, anyway, I'm not going to be too picky about it because it is just a using up yarn kind of project. Yeah, so like I said, this is going to be the inside. So it's, you know, not going to be as pretty as the outside. But it has been just like enjoyable to knit, just to watch all these little scrap balls just disappear into a bag. And I think I'm going to do a pause this evening and weave in some ends before I continue on. It really, yeah, it looks like a lot. It really won't take me that much time, but I like to weave in ends as I go when I do these things. So I did it while I was doing my fire season blanket. All right. Oh, yeah, I just dropped a stitch there. Oh, you know what? When I finished my Korean poncho, you guys are going to be so proud of me. When I finished it, I put all my tools away. I put the needles away. I put the needle stoppers away. And I put the project bag away. I never do. They usually end up on this table for the longest time. And then I eventually, when I'm looking for the tools that I need to do the next project, they're over there. And then, but anyway, yeah, so these unicorns can now go on the Scraw bucket. So I have one more scrappy project to talk about, and it is one that you have not seen yet in progress, I don't think. But I did talk about it. I did say I was going to do it. And that is my gnome. So I'm still on the hat. Look how big it is. Well, this particular gnome, I will show it to you. It is Nicole. And Nicole, percentage-wise, is a lot of hash. Like, she's got a lot of hash. So it's not like the other gnomes where they're like a 1-to-1 ratio body versus hat. This one here, she's like a 2-to-1 ratio, or maybe even more height-wise. But that is why the hat, and also I'm knitting it in worsted weight. I want it to be a fairly large gnome because it's going in a silent auction to support the Becoming an Outdoors Woman program. So yeah, I want it to be a fairly large gnome. The bigger the gnome, the bigger the bid, I would guess. I don't know. But yeah, so this is how much I got done. I need to have it finished by the end of the week next week. So I'm planning to have it finished by Wednesday so that, you know, I'll have another finished object to talk about. So I'm using scraps. Actually, this gray is not technically a scrap. They're seconds that I keep in the basket back there of Briggs & Little Tuffy. And I wanted a gray. I wanted something nice and neutral and then like a color. I was torn between this and the teal and the like golden yellow, but this is what I ended up going with for the body. I couldn't still change my mind because I didn't start the body yet, but I am, I think, going with this one. But down the road, I might knit another one out of like their colors. I really like the Folly Mountain Spruce from Deanne Fitzpatrick's exclusive colors of Briggs & Little. Yeah, so this is, I think this is charcoal. This is maroon. And then, of course, I just have the bleached white for the beard. And I am going for the loopy beard. Not the crinkly loopy beard, but the loopy beard. Because the book has, like, different options. So, yeah, so this is from the Gnomes of Grimblewood by Sarah Skira, who is gnome famous. And I'm doing the year of gnomes, and no, I did not finish my January gnome in time, but I'm just knitting 12 gnomes this year. I'm not confining myself by, you know, time, which is a construct anyway. But anyway. Anyway, yeah, that is that. That is how far I got. I am going to work on the rest of the hat this weekend, I would say, or maybe tomorrow. Probably the hat tomorrow. I am hankering to work on my Scraw bucket, like big time. That is the thing that I want to work on right now. So, yeah, I'm going to move on to my non-scrappy works in progress, and I'm going to take a little peppermint break first. All right, so I did get some work done on my warm-up sweater. Not near as much as, of course, the Corian Poncho. That one I was like determined to finish that one. But this is where I was the last time you saw it. That's how much I knit since my last video. Not too shabby considering how much other knitting I've been doing. And yeah, so I got past splitting for the sleeves. This pattern is, yeah, the warm-up sweater. I don't think I mentioned that yet. By Stash-down, and it is knit out of Drops Air, which I think I still have some in the yeah, so it drops air. And it is delightfully soft and fluffy, and I think it is going to be a joy to wear. And it is just a good old top-down raglan stockinette stitch. Just a nice comfort knit, you know? That's kind of what I was going for when choosing this pattern and this yarn. It is very enjoyable. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, really. But yeah. That is how much work I got done on my warm-up sweater, and I have one more project to talk to you about, and then I completely forgot. I have to do my Stash-down update. When I finished those other socks, the scrappy ones, I was able to bring in one of my 12 days of cast-on socks into the mix, and here they are. And it is the Slip-tastic socks by Nancy Wheeler. And just look at this. The colorway is from Pretty String. I purchased it when Karen, I think that's, I don't know if it's Karen or Corinne, was here. She was here in Cape Breton when the Grocery Girls came into port on the cruise ship and was at Tracy's Rolling Yarn Shop. And I always had been eyeing this yarn at Tracy's, and this one was there that day, and I could not go without it. Like, just look at it. The colorway is called Unicorn Burps. And when I knit with this, it just makes me so happy. As I knit, I watch the little speckled colors, the yellows and the oranges and the bright pinks coming along, and it just makes me so happy. And no, there's not a whole lot of contrast for that slip stitch section. Don't care. Don't care. Look at it. So, completed sock, and then I have a heel on the other one. Oh, now I'm like, why don't I work on this tonight instead of Scraw Bucket, and then I can finish this. I'll work on Scraw Bucket tonight, and I will work on this tomorrow. It is a DK weight, so it knits up pretty fast. And yeah, oh my god. And Karen was so nice as well. So if you see her yarn, she does these kits. There was a book that Tracy showed on her Instagram. And so Pretty String has like yarns kitted up for all these different socks. There's like colorwork ones in the book, and I have no idea what the book it is, but I will look it up and I will link it down below. And I will link Pretty String. But she has them kitted up to work all the different colorwork projects in the book. There's one that's like sheep, and I know there's like green in it and white, of course, and black. I think that might be it. I can't remember. But and then there's like these really pretty blue and white ones. But yeah, she has everything kitted up so to match the colors of the sample socks in the book. So it's so pretty. And yeah, so that'll be linked below. But yeah, I love this. It makes me so happy. So yeah. Oh, yeah, I have to do my Stash-down update. So if you follow me for a while, you might be wondering, Jen, you didn't do your Stash-down update for the end of 2024. No, I did not. I am going to do a 2024 wrapped video instead of doing everything I knit in 2024 like I did last year. I am going to just do like my favorite knits of 2024, because that everything I knit in 2024, not all of it is here because I gifted it, and it's very tedious to have to like download all the photos and stuff. Plus, you guys want to see the cream of the crop, right? You want to see the stuff that I really enjoyed knitting over the past year. So that video is coming very soon. I think I'm actually recording it tomorrow. So that one will be fun to do. Actually, this evening I should round up all my favorite projects and get ready. So, yeah. So I'll do a stash down update for January of this year. Did I open the wrong book and realize I misplaced the right book? Yes, I did. All right. So in January, I knitted Flying Geese mitts, homebody socks, the ribbed house socks that you saw, and the gingerbread gnome. And that was 356 grams out, and there were no grams in. So I'm starting the year off with a negative 356 grams. I don't foresee myself purchasing yarn in February. I do have a prize come into me though. I did win a prize for Nana's visit, that mystery knit along, which is exciting. So that is going to be coming. And then I was like looking at, maybe there's these tiny skeins of yarn at a shop down the road. It's from like Lichen and Lace, and the shop is like sells like locally made stuff and stocks Lichen and Lace in their little like fiber section. They have needlework stuff, or like needle felting and embroidery and rug hooking stuff from DM Fitzpatrick's studio, like the kits. Which reminds me, I really need to try to use that kit that I bought on my 40th birthday. I can't, it doesn't feel like that was 2 years ago. But anyway, they have Lichen and Lace, and they have these little skeins that could be used for doing like a colorwork cuff on a sock. So I'm contemplating that, but I don't know. When I was cleaning my yarn room the other day, I got really overwhelmed. So I think I'm just going to steer clear. But in March, I'm purchasing a sweater quantity for myself for my birthday, for the cat sweater that Andrea Rangel came out with. So yeah, that is the plan for any kind of yarn acquisition. So until March, there will be no yarn intake other than maybe the prize that I won. So yay. I am going to go, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. I hope you get a chance to do quite a bit of knitting or other fiber arts that you work on and enjoy. And I will see you again next week, because hopefully I will have enough stuff worth talking about. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want to, you can hit subscribe if you want to see more of me and what I'm working on. And if not, that's good too. I'm just glad you're here right now. Anyway, until next week, take care.